And here is the Vegan's Almanac for today, the 2nd of November. November 2nd, the day after World Vegan Day, is Dynamic Harmlessness Day. After learning the benefits of sticking to a variety of plant foods and avoiding any animal products, the next step on the vegan path is to learn how to apply ahimsa in your daily life. The Sanskrit word ahimsa, which means non-harming, is the basis for the concept of dynamic harmlessness. While the term used to have negative connotations, such as thou shalt not, Mahatma Gandhi changed it to emphasize a more positive perspective of constructive action. This is where the idea of causing the least amount of suffering comes into play, with the goal of removing as much pain, death, and harm as possible, and replacing it with help, kindness, and goodwill. This is something that many vegans, including the late J. Dinshaw, devote their lives to. Dinshaw was the first to introduce the concept of dynamic harmlessness to the vegan community, and Dynamic Harmlessness Day promotes the practice. Dinshaw and his wife founded the American Vegan Society based on these beliefs, and he has always advocated for a more positive rather than a negative approach to the world, encouraging non-harm when it comes to what people eat. The American Vegan Society established a day on Dinshaw's birthday to promote his ideas to others because he promoted this philosophy throughout his life. As a result, dynamic harmlessness has become a popular concept among nonviolence advocates. It's a broad philosophy centered on actively attempting to live up to the truth and assist others, both human and non-human. The publication of The Criminal Prosecution and Capital Punishment of Animals by E.P. Evans was on this day in 2009. This pioneering work collects an amazing assemblage of court cases in which animals have been named as defendants. Chickens, rats, field mice, bees, gnats, and in 34 recorded instances, pigs, among others, providing insight into such modern issues as animal rights, capital punishment, and social and criminal theory. Evans suggests an intriguing distinction between trials of specific animals or particular crimes, such as the murder of an infant by a pig, and trials for larger catastrophic events, such as plagues and infestations. In the latter case, Evans suggests a parallel between these prosecutions and witchcraft. Edward Payson Evans, a historian, linguist, and associate of Ralph Waldo Emerson, taught at the University of Michigan before moving to Germany, where he became a specialist in Oriental languages and German literature. A prolific author, his other animal-related books are Animal Symbolism in Art and Literature and Animal Symbolism in Ecclesiastical Architecture, both published in 1887. And the publication of Eating Animals by Jonathon Safran Foer was also on this day in 2009. Best-selling author Jonathon Safran Foer spent much of his life oscillating between enthusiastic carnivore and occasional vegetarian. For years, he was content to live with uncertainty about his own dietary choices. But once he started a family, the moral dimensions of food became increasingly important. Faced with the prospect of being unable to explain why we eat some animals and not others, Foer set out to explore the origins of many eating traditions and the fictions involved with creating them. Traveling to the darkest corners of our dining habits, Foer raises the unspoken question behind every fish we eat, every chicken we fry, and every burger we grill. Part memoir and part investigative report, Eating Animals is a book that, in the words of the Los Angeles Times, places Jonathon Safran Foer at the table with our greatest philosophers, and a must-read for anyone who cares about building a more humane and healthy world. And here is an anonymous poem for today, The Drunkard and the Pig. It was early last November, as near as I remember. I was strolling down the street in drunken pride, but my knees were all aflutter and I landed in the gutter, and a pig came up and lay down by my side. Yes, I lay there in the gutter thinking thoughts I could not utter, when a lady passing by did softly say, "You can tell a man who boozes by the company he chooses." And the pig got up and slowly walked away. The Drunkard and the Pig, anonymously written. This has been the Vegan's Almanac with a reminder to recognize the common bond that unites all living beings in one universal brotherhood.